leading up to the top leagues as well. We all seem to play the same style of football. You go back a few years, and for example, probably in the 90s, even into the noughties, Italian football had a reputation for being slow and a bit laborious and exacting. And they were good players, great players. Italy have always been good, but it was a different, less exciting type of game. Now that's all gone. Those things, all the, I remember over the years, the Netherlands have been so, total football. That's what they play. In other words, every player is good on the ball technically. Well, that's been the case for teams now for years. All players are good on the ball technically. They can't afford not to be. So yeah, I think most teams play the same style of football. You get your 5-3-1, 4-4-2. Well, that's not very common nowadays. It all seems to be, three at the back, two wing backs, and then your midfield and two or three strikers, etc. One at the front with two laying off him. It is all very much a limited tactical game now. So coming back to Haaland, I think he could fit in anywhere, because managers, they all play the same style of football. I'm not sure if it's good or bad. I think it's probably good that they do, because generally the games are exciting. That was a game last night. It was a bit end-to-end, Real Madrid against Liverpool, when it was great to watch. And and of course the other foreign games were Arsenal, they won 3-0. Tottenham won 4-0. Arsenal were away. But again, plenty of goals in those two games, because again the excitement is there for fans to watch. I mean, I should be going tomorrow to watch Palace in our Europe Conference League for another game, which really we want to win. We lost the last one, so that'll be there. But I'm expecting Palace to play their usual style of football, which is emphasis on attack, and it's a great time to be watching football teams when they have that emphasis on attack. It just gives you an excitement, particularly as it does become end-to-end very often. And even the excitement last Saturday when we beat Brentford at home 2-0, it's palpable in the stadium. I mean, it's just, there's a real buzz these days with Palace because we've had such a good period of 6 or 7 months winning the FA Cup, etc. But fans love to be entertained, and there's not many teams now, I suggest, that will bore the fans with very negative styles of playing. So I've drifted a bit from our question, but yeah, I think Erling Haaland, just like Virgil or Virgin van Dijk, as you like to call him, I think I think they would just meld into any team that was lucky enough to get them. They would be excellent wherever they go. And I just think that is the case.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's a good player. I was just looking at Real Madrid and the structure of Real Madrid. It's very different. Because when you look at a player like Jude Bellingham, and you think of Jude Bellingham in the Premier League, it's hard to imagine Jude Bellingham in the Premier, and when you look at players like Kylian Mbappe, all right, so he might, I don't know, but then you look at players like what's the other one, Vinicius Junior. I don't think he would last in the Premier League, because I get a feeling that he's got this anger, is easily provoked. And players in the Premier League, they'll get under his skin.
Yeah, and they will.
And he'll get sent off.
Yes, yeah. No, that's the truth of it. Mind you, I can understand. He was angry. I think he got booked last night, didn't he?
He'll get sent off.
Yes, yeah. No, that's the truth of it. Mind you, I can understand. He was angry. I think he got booked last night, didn't he? And he was angry one or two challenges. Now, I think for me, a player I've become very impressed with at Liverpool is Connor Bradley. They were at Palace a few weeks ago, and we did win in the last minute, and he was their right back, their right sort of wing back, and clearly he's good. He's only young, probably 21, something like that. Going up and down the wing, but playing it quite safe. And I thought, yeah, he's probably got a lot to learn. He would, pass the ball back or square and all that. But in that game last night, he really stepped up, and I have to say, I was incredibly impressed with his performance. He was almost, if not the man of the match. I thought he was superb. He was making these runs bravely through their defence, and you can see why Liverpool identified him probably as a youngster like Trent Alexander-Arnold as one to put on their books. He was really very good. But the only reason I raised him was a couple of times he absolutely shoved Junior out the way and almost into the advertising bits at the end. And it's a thing in football at the moment which referees seem to allow, and that's players push. They come up to a player, the opponent, and they push them. You must have seen it. And I think, well, surely, and they fall over sometimes or they lose the ball. Why is the ref not given that as a free kick or a penalty even? But they do, they just push. And I suppose if it's a barge, you could say it's shoulder to shoulder, which I think was what happened last night. But it was a pretty rough, as poor old Junior was running towards the line, trying to get round to cross the ball. Connor Bradley just came and gave him a real, I mean, he's quite small, Junior, compared to Bradley, and a little push, and he's in a heap. And I could see him sort of mouthing things at the ref because it wasn't given as a foul. But I do wonder why nowadays they don't give those things as fouls. They should not be allowed to push like they do.
Yeah. Now we're going to be going into our second segment of the football referee, and we're going to be talking about Crystal Palace. Exciting.
Yeah.
And then we're going to be talking about Danny Welbeck. Is he a good fit for the England? For an England call-up. So we'll see you in a minute. Don't go away. Yeah, see you in a minute. Right. So